What's up, cyberspace cadets? It's Irate Prostate here. It's Monday. I'm irate. And it's Irate Mondays with Chaos 120. And in the studio with me currently is TerraSynn. And Scooby 331. Hey, Scooby.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, definitely.
I said, hey, what's going on?
Just having a good afternoon, evening going on here. And so we were talking earlier. I guess I'll go ahead and run it, and I'll just run it on the loop. Vetran Mountainman said he'll be joining us in a minute or two. But I want everybody to catch this.
The penguin's in the chat.
And so what we got here is, y'all won't be able to see it, but we've got this guy with wearing a thermal shirt with a black T-shirt on top of it. This guy hits him with the steel cobra, and he clocks him and knocks him the fuck out. And that's what happens when a soy boy tangles with a tree. Just saying. And I could watch this loop all night long. I've got it slowed down for like fair use purposes and shit. And I made the picture a little bit slower. And if y'all want to check it out on the watch page, it should be up by now. So this is the beginning. All right, and you'll see our guy get hit by the guy, and then there he goes, steps up to the guy, grabs this thing, and boom, ba-boom, on the floor. I fucking love this shit. I can watch it all day long. Oh, so there was, and really what happened this weekend in Portland was pretty much mild compared to some of the other shit, but it was still a mess. And I'm sure that that Vetran will have a little bit more insight into it. He told me he wasn't able to be there, but he will, be able to, talk about it a little bit. So, and what we're going to do is I'll go ahead and come out of this now, and we'll go back into our main screen where it's just us talking. So, comments?
I think it's great, you know.
It's like a lava lamp. It's hypnotizing.
No shit, man. I can't stop watching the damn thing. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. And I was trying to look for some solid footage. There was a guy that I met like 2 weeks ago with the Warrior Patriot Network, media network, and I haven't been able to get in touch with him. He must be just cutting everything he shot up, because he had told me he was going to be there. So I guarantee you he has some great footage. So, and hopefully I'll be able to bring some in the next couple of days. I kind of wanted to look at that tonight, and then the labeling. The press is starting to label people like us as being free speech extremists.
Really?
Yeah. It's like when
we're now free speech extremists.
Yeah, it was like in an article in the UK, they were talking about the Sargon and Milo Yiannopoulos and Count Dankula being accepted into UKIP. And that's what they refer to them as, free speech extremists. So they're no longer outright, proto-Nazis. Now they're free speech extremists. So get used to that label, because we're going to hear that a lot. A lot.
Lord.
Yeah. The newspeak, they got to keep cutting the language down. You know how that goes.
Ridiculous.
No doubt.
Straight and cool. Man, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with these people. Seriously, like, don't.
What? You faded out, Scooby.
I think his mic is acting up because there's light, but there's
see something here.
Say something and then you blanked out.
Oh, figures. I said something really awesome too. Just how it goes. No, well, all I said was it's fighting so desperately to get rid of free speech when it's something we fought so hard to get in the first place. And, you know, I'm not a conservative. I say that all the time. I don't particularly give a shit, you know. I mean, I'd like to think, if anything, maybe I'm a bit more of a traditionalist than a conservative. Keep the fucking statues alone is my whole thing, because taxpayers paid for it. You want to get rid of them? Fine. Go up and fucking sign a petition, go to town hall, do it the right way. You know? Don't go and sit there and play banjos and shit, you know? That's ridiculous. And it's one of those things. I see so much shit that they're doing, and, you know, it reminds me of the footage of the Great Leap Forward. That's all I keep thinking of.
Yeah, the Great Leap Forward, man. That's what Scooby's referring to is I believe it's a 3-year period in China where they were literally starving their own people to compensate for technology and industrialization is what the party line was on that. It was just a way to, you know, thin the herd, so the resources could be distributed, you know, with the technology they had. So it's sad, man. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a great comparison.
The part of it was because Mao grew up during China's sick man phase, when they were known as the sick man of Asia. Mm-hmm. So for him, growing up and seeing that, that's what made him think of communism as being, you know, because his big thing, you know, was he kept hammering home was the opiate of the people. He felt that religion and tradition was what was poisoning China, so that's the reason he went out of his way to try to remove all of it.
It's interesting how I was talking about this the other day to somebody that now instead of the opiate of masses being religion, it's fucking politics.
Yeah,
it's funny how that's happened.
Yep, one cult replaces another. That's really all it is.
Yep, exactly. How you doing, Burnside, man?
Oh, I slept like a fucking rock, man. My roommates thought I was dead. Literally. I worked at 12 yesterday, which went by fucking quick as shit because they had me on the rover. And I got night shift tonight. And oh boy, fuck. God damn, did I sleep.
So was that a turnaround you had to do?
More or less.
Yeah.
Same site, different job.
Yeah.
Technically same job, only, you know, he's in a car outside.
Well, that's kind of...
I literally spent a good chunk of last night chasing people around, telling them not to park in places like an asshole. Or I was chasing stray cats and possums.
You didn't run over dinner?
No, I'm not that redneck.
Oh.
I would have fallen in love with you if you had.
There's a thing called a deer that you hunt and kill and eat because it's tasty.
Well, according to my stepmother, anything killed on the side of the road is edible.
Well, she's either incredibly redneck or she's used to living under Mao, where you have to eat roadkill in order to survive.
She was born and raised in Tennessee and now lives in Alabama.
Lovely. Well, over here in Chicago, despite all the dead bodies, we're not cannibals. We're just psychopaths and sociopaths and donkey teeth McCringleberries on the 40-inch rims and shit. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't put enough of an accent on there. And shit.
You know, a lot of what you see actually that occurs down south with things of that nature, that's actually transplanted Irish culture, because you see a lot of that in the Irish neighborhoods in Boston and like parts of New York.
No fucking way, really?
Yeah,
Oh shit!
there's actually a saying that we have in New York. How can you tell the difference between Shanty Irish and lace curtain Irish? And the way you can
Shanty. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
that you can tell the difference between Shanty Irish and lace curtain Irish is the lace curtain Irish will take the dishes out of the kitchen sink before they piss in it.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's actually where you get a lot of that sort of odd behavior that you get from in redneck culture, where there's a lot of the white trash behavior, as you would call it. That's a byproduct. If you ever seen the movie Snatch, they have what they call Irish gypsies. They're pikeys.
Yep.
That's what that is. That's what you're getting a lot down south in like the Appalachians. You get the same thing up here in the Adirondacks and the Catskills, and the same thing also in parts of Boston and like in Vermont. That's actually just Irish culture that you're seeing. It's backwoods Irish culture. That's what that is.
God damn, that's hysterical.
Believe it or not, everyone talks about the South with inbreeding. It's either Oneonta or Onondaga or Oswego. One of the ones upstate New York with an O is actually the inbreeding capital of the planet.
You said Aniana correctly, man. I was surprised. That's excellent, man. It's like
I live here.
I heard a dude one time say, we have Aniana, Alabama, and he called it Oneonta. And I just looked at him,
Oh, well, you got to realize I have a sister who lives in Copiague. I have another sister who lives in Massapequa. I went to school up in Utica. I had a friend, she's a very nice girl. She was actually an Iroquois. She was over on their reservation. So, and I also had another girl that I was friends with. She was Algonquin.
Mm.
Literally, you have to know how to pronounce these names. You can't get around New York. A lot of people don't realize that. Like 90% of our names over here are all Native American names.
Florida.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's actually
Pronounce we actually have a town called Osceola.
Tallahassee.
It's Ocala, Osceola. I'm like, okay, no. Wanting to go to Silver Springs and Osceola? No, that's in Ocala. Cow.
Yeah.
Think of Ocow. Ocow. Because there's cows and horses out there.
I actually get into arguments because you'll get called by people, like from different parts of the country. You spent money in a store in a certain town and they'll mispronounce it. That kid in trouble because he got really nasty with me. He told me I couldn't read. And I said to him, I want to speak to your supervisor. He's like, okay, fine. So the supervisor gets on and the supervisor starts saying the same thing. I go, hey, look. He's reading it. It's ISLIP. It's islip is how it's pronounced. But he's saying islip. And I'm like, no, it's pronounced islip. And they're like, well, it says here islip. I can read. I said, hey, asshole. I've lived here for over 30 years. Take my word for it. It's islip. I said to him, I said, you actually have the balls to sit there and argue with one of your customers how to pronounce the name. Where are you calling me from? Well, we're located in the Midwest. I said, really? You're going to correct me. I said, about someplace that's 5 minutes away from me. I said, you're in the middle of the country. Have you ever been here? No. Say, I hung up on him. Fuck him.
I do this same thing with people all the time when they pronounce Illinois. I'm like,
you're on fire, bro.
I was literally taught in school that Illinois was pronounced Illinois.
Not Illinois.
No. And then I was reading off the states, and to my mom, and I said Illinois, and she goes, "Wait, what?" She goes, "No, sweetie, Illinois."
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
And
I just ran over a massive heap of garbage in the middle of the fucking road. Some of us will hurt something.
It almost sounds like auto-tune.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
Hey dude. You're just in time.
My mom
man.
went and had a chat with the teacher that was teaching me how to mispronounce the state. She's like, I'm an Army brat, and we got our ass beaten if we didn't pronounce the states right.
Yep.
Which state?
I was teacher when I was growing up that the state of Illinois was pronounced Illinois.
That's how they teach us it's pronounced.
Wow.
So my mom states to her, and she caught on. She went and had a talk with the teacher, and she's like, if you continue to teach these kids the wrong way of pronouncing a state, I'm calling the school board.
And,
Didn't
veteran,
like hearing that from my mom.
Veteran, if you can catch the watch page, I'm showing a clip on a loop of the something that happened in Portland this weekend, where this Antifa member gets clocked.
Yeah, Antifa actually attacked a Patriot and Prayer rally in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Patriot and Prayer rally was to support ICE and rule of law, and they were trying to push a removal of the sanctuary state status.
But that
Yeah,
dude,
it caused a counter-protest.
man, he cleaned this motherfucker's clock out. I mean, he is ice cold, knocked out.
Yeah, it's the Proud Boys, man. They don't take no shit from no communists.
No shit. It's awesome.
To be fair, Burnside, I could level about 65% of the commies in Portland. Most of them are about as
And
big
here he
around
comes.
as a frickin' broom.
Boom. I love it.
Yeah, I was
could watch
asking
that all
around
night.
about that late last night when news started circulating about that. Did the cops
Winding
get an
up.
order to stand down or something? How'd this whole thing tick off?
So, Mayor Wheeler is not the biggest about stopping protests that he agrees with. And up until Antifa was literally sitting on MAX trains to stop traffic in the middle of Portland, did he even send the police in to stop Antifa from protesting daily. Daily. They were blocking streets every day for like 6 months in Portland, right? Elected.
Wow. Is there any way the president could override that shit?
Nope. Doesn't affect state-to-state commerce. Only affects commerce in Portland.
And they were showing the chief of police.
Damn.
The chief of police in Portland is this
That new chick that got promoted from...
her last name's Outlaw. And,
Yeah.
and she's an African-American female that looks like she's maybe 28 years old.
Yeah, she's from Boston. She's a fucking diversity hire.
Right. Well, that's her point. She said the point of the police department from this point on is to have the police department reflect the people that inhabit it. In other words,
Which is really freaking funny because Portland is at most 7% black.
no shit.
So why the hell do we have a black chief of police?
It doesn't make sense.
Nope.
It's
Christ almighty.
Yep.
Because that's the thing I was really wondering, because the CPD operates differently, and I didn't know if that's just because our state laws and that. But I was wondering, why the police weren't trying to separate them and stuff, and I figured, that it was a stand down or something.
Nope. It all boils down to the fact that Mayor Wheeler, his balls are in a jar somewhere in the Oregon DNC headquarters.
Okay, that makes perfect sense then.
Yep. Ted Wheeler, even when he was Commissioner Wheeler for the Portland Metro Council Commission, never met a protest he didn't support. He decided the best way to deal with our homeless population was to allow them in the hell they want on city land.
That's nuts.
So now, every day I drive, I roll past tent cities, little mini abominations, all over Portland, pretty much anywhere there's ODOT land.
Lovely.
Dude. You know, that's just it's all right. The old, you know, that whole inmates leading the, running the asylum thing is like, it's almost like it seems like that's the rule out west now, and it spread from California, you know, all the way up through the rest of the coast, and it's such beautiful country out there, man. And there's so much we could be doing with it, and the environmentalists and shit have just shut that shit off because, you know, trees. It's not like we can't grow more.
It's mostly because of how long it takes them to grow.
Well, it's a renewable resource. What they do is when they cut them down, they plant a new crop every year. So when they cut down now, because they've been doing it over 100 years, there's a fresh crop to replace whatever they're cutting down.
Actually, Tara, alder here in Oregon takes about 20 years to be fully mature and about as big around as anything you'd ever need.
So that's what 5 generations right there of logging.
Yep. You won't get them, you know, so that you can cut giant tabletops out of a single slice across them at 20 years. You know, that'll hold, 50 people. But for timber purposes, you'll get a 9-10 foot across tree.
Well, the main crop here in Florida is pine trees.
Yeah. Climates.
This is where you get most of your pine wood. It takes a good while to get them the right height and thickness.
Yeah, they grow like cancer, though, man. They pop up like that here, at least.
Yeah.
We have a shitload of tree rats.
Yeah, you guys do. In fact, out here, we got problems with some of the alder. It gets so hard, even though it's a softwood, that you can't split it.
Damn.
Yeah, it just grows that hard. Yeah,
I
I had to help
for illegals hiding from ice up in the trees.
Yep, they can.
It's slang for squirrels.
Oh, okay. Oh, we call those rats in tuxedos.
Rats, dear.
Cool.
I do got one other
used to
question.
make a really mean squirrel stew.
Squirrel stew's tasty.
Oh,
Yeah, it
God.
is.
What's the matter, Burnside? You've never had squirrel?
We eat snails. So.
No, I never had squirrel stew. Never been that post-APOC yet.
No, it's
Dude.
actually really good, and we have an overabundance of squirrels. I mean, they breed faster than fucking rabbits.
They do. I'll tell you what, if you come down and visit me once I set up in Tennessee, I'll make you a pot of squirrel stew.
Sure.
Like, every 3 months, they have a litter.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep, some taters, some carrots, onion, green pepper, squirrel meat.
I'll take everything except the onion, unless it's grilled. I'm picky with my onions.
Gosh, people say I'm picky.
I can be a picky bastard.
Sorry, you put anything in front of him, he'll try it at least once.
Yeah, about
True.
the only thing I don't eat is Brussels sprouts.
I'll eat those.
I will, too.
Sprouts,
Never met it.
Salt and butter.
Never met a Brussels sprout I liked. I've met plenty of them that I disliked, but never found one I liked. Everything else, though, I'm good on.
Do you like cabbage?
I love cabbage, man.
Okay.
Baby cabbage.
Yeah, kind of.
They don't taste the same.
Yeah.
Oh, the Brussels sprouts are actually sweeter.
Oh,
I think that's part of the problem, and I'm not a huge fan of sweet vegetables.
oh, okay. Well,
Steamed?
yeah.
They got a sulfur taste to them steamed that just doesn't agree with me. Like I'm eating rock or something.
Okay.
Oh, there's one thing I did want to ask you. Are fireworks legal in your state?
That's a good question.
Certain types. So basically anything that doesn't go over 6 feet in the air, you can buy. Anything
Okay,
that goes over 6 feet in the air, forget about it.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay, so those M80s and stuff that Antifa was throwing, those were technically legally purchased?
Yeah, you can go. I could go right across the street to the TNT fireworks fireworks tent that's across the street at the Albertsons and just buy a bunch of M80s right off the shelf.
Albertsons?
But don't get caught with bottle rockets. Don't get caught with bottle rockets. That's a $500 fine.
Dude, that's the fun.
That's way out backwards.
Oh man, bottle rocket wars are the way to go.
Oh, I agree.
That is so fucking fun, dude.
Oh, you can't even find
Roman
you can't even find a Roman candle out here, hun. They don't even sell those in Washington.
Yeah, Roman candles.
God damn.
And the old mortar shells.
A lot of the clusterfuck that happened with that riot then.
And the mortar shells I used to buy in Tennessee, where I'd get like 6 mortars for like $12. Forget about it. You get caught with one of those out here, you're in jail.
Let me ask you, man, have you ever heard of a place called Perks Fireworks?
I know Perks.
In Nashville, man? Yeah, man. My dad and I would go there every fucking year. Oh, my God. It was like fireworks heaven. It's a
Yeah, see, we didn't.
Go ahead.
We never went to Perks because Perks is more expensive. What we do is we go down to Big Dave's outside of Chattanooga, where they're half price because they manufacture them there, and then they get sold at Perks.
See, I think Perks used to manufacture them back in the day, and they had a big fire. No, they had a big fire, man. It fucked some shit up. People died.
Yeah. Like
so,
87, they had that fire, and after that, they quit producing for themselves. So we started going down to Big Dave's in Chattanooga.
God, no, that's a blast from the past, man.
But
I knew you'd know it, man. So,
oh yeah.
All right.
But yeah, man. Me and my dad, we'd buy 6-7 boxes of artillery shells. We'd buy a bunch of those giant Skylift rockets and shit.
Man, it's fun.
We'd
It's fun.
put on a big old show out here, and I'm like, I can't get Roman candles? Wait. Sparklers are illegal? What?
You fucking kidding me?
It's ridiculous, man. You can't have sparklers, but you can have morning glories.
Here in Florida,
That's downright insane.
sparklers were illegal because, apparently,
Of course, Florida man.
like an entire, 3 dozen boxes up his ass and burned his ass. In his ass and, lit him on fire. This was a long time ago.
Florida, man. Florida.
Wow. Fuck, dude.
See, and I heard about plenty of hillbillies playing with Roman candles and getting themselves burned, but Tennessee was always like, screw that. You dumb enough to do it. You dumb enough to get what you got.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good
that's how
Lord.
most of Florida feels about the whole Florida man stories. We're just like, you fucking moron.
It's natural selection just doing its thing, man. Just creatively, Creative natural selection.
Darwin Awards.
Yep, Darwin Awards.
Future Darwin Awards. Absolutely.
But yeah, guys, so Antifa and the crazies here in PDX have been at it big time. So the PDX ICE has had to put up barricades to resume operations. And we now have
What
protests.
kind? Like the concrete kind, or did they break out the big toys?
They broke out the steel and concrete hybrids.
Damn.
Oh shit!
They mean business.
And we had federal law enforcement out here from Department of Homeland Security actually escorting people into the ICE facility.
Wow. Well, those jackoffs wanted their war. Now they got it. Fuck.
Here's the deal. There's still plenty of them camped out on the fucking sidewalks on city property.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Can't they be arrested?
Nope. They're not on federal grounds, and Mayor Wheeler won't authorize the arrests.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's made me nerve-wracked all day today because I was driving downtown today because my shop's closed completely for the next week and some change. So I'm just driving for Lyft while it all closed down. I was driving downtown. I kept having to drive past the McAdams facility. And every time I drove past, I was worried a riot was going to break out. Because Lyft won't let me conceal carry while I drive.
Dude. That is just,
Now,
It's just unnecessary.
Both of them forbidden.
Unnecessary, man.
Yep. Well, and to be fair, if I'm carrying right, my passenger should never know I've got a gun to begin with, but what the hell do I know?
April O'Neil in the chat said, I missed a little stream. What are we talking about? We're talking about your big old titties.
Yeah, no, so they were putting up barricades today, and they were telling the protesters that if they interfere with operations, they will be arrested. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow. If I get a chance, I'm going to try to videotape tomorrow the ICE facility opening and see what happens. But they're yelling out here that no person should be deported and we shouldn't have borders and ICE is a terrorist organization. I'm telling you guys, it's this Freedom City movement. They're wanting to give the illegals voting rights. Y'all okay over there, or did I lose everybody?
No, we're good. We're good.
Was my brother able to message you on Discord?
Who, me?
I haven't seen anything yet.
All right, I'm sending him your name and Discord number.
Yeah, because he was already in my Discord.
Yeah, he might even. I think he's in mine, man. He could probably just hop in here and pop it in the general chat. Just you know, and it'll pop the whole link in there, man. You see?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting crazy out here, and I'm worried here soon that it's going to get even worse.
So, all right, what's the clock? What's the countdown until you get the fuck out of there?
I'm working on paperwork now. I'm hoping I can be out of this state by the 8th of September.
Your lips to God's ear, my friend.
Because they're supposed to have a new law that goes into effect that if you touch your phone, you can be fined $500.
While you're driving?
In the car.
Oh, okay.
Even if you're
not
stopped.
driving.
Nobody's gonna.
Oh, that's a bullshit.
Nobody's gonna abuse that law. Shit. God, that's the dumbest fucking thing, man. I mean, you know, we were talking the other day about that, the arrest of, what's her name, Judd's daughter, you know, because there was a fucking bag with the receipt in it. And they, you know, based upon the materials on that receipt, that was, you know, that was just enough, that was enough for them to arrest her. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, shit, just think about you know, touching the phone. It's like, I saw you touch that phone. I didn't touch my phone, sir.
Now, here's the kicker. Technically, if you've got an in-dash touchscreen navigation system, it'll qualify as a device.
Yep.
Your Bluetooth-enabled steering wheel will qualify as a device if you answer a phone call.
Like, how retarded is that legislature, man?
And here's the drill.
Evidently.
If you get 3 times... and you cause an accident, you're in fucking jail. 6 months.
God damn. That's
Class B misdemeanor.
In a way, man, that's kind of like as scary as the shit that's going on in England, man. That's just ridiculous.
It is, man. That's part of the reason I'm leaving this godforsaken state.
No shit, man.
Man. Yeah, and there's supposed to be more protests all week this week. I'm expecting there's going to be something crazy happen on the 4th when we're supposed to have our fireworks on the waterfront. Right.
That's probably when, you know, they're going to hit the worst. Or, you know, it's, yeah, they'll do that, man. Oh, I forgot to say today to my Canadian friends, Happy Canada Day to you Canadians out there. Much love and Happy Canada Day. What does that mean? Y'all gonna go out and get drunk?
Isn't that Tuesday?
It's Monday. No shit.
Of Mr. Soy Boy.
I was gonna say, isn't that a normal Tuesday?
It is, man. It is.
No, this time they're gonna drink liquor maple.
Ah, they're gonna
Ooh.
drink. Okay, okay. But yeah, happy Canada Day to all the Canucks out there. Thank you guys, and congratulations on your country being its own sovereign nation.
Speech.
That last.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is that last?
Yeah, for as long as it lasts. Hopefully it doesn't get overthrown by Sharia here soon. So what have you guys got going on in y'all cities? Because I know Portland is all efforted up.
We had talked about the free speech extremist label now that
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
being used by journalists, as they call themselves. What's your
Oh yeah,
take?
you mean the one that I'm getting painted with?
Yeah, that we all are. This is a free speech extremist gathering, you know, a free speech extremist show with a bunch of free speech extremists.
I had somebody the other day on Twitter using that against me, was yelling at me, calling me a free speech extremist because I had specifically stated that any time you censor a person from giving their opinions, you have effectively given them more power over you.
Mm-hmm.
When I censor them in my stream chat because they're spamming, it's because they're annoying the fuck out of me.
Well, yeah. There's a difference between stopping someone from spamming and censoring somebody. There is a difference. It's a fine difference, but there's a difference. It's one of the reasons I
spamming
don't...
is someone just being a troll tard. Someone censoring someone from actually talking is actual censorship.
Yeah.
You know, 1 or 2 timeouts is enough, man. You know, that's the way I see it. When I do wrenchy things, you know.
Yeah, because in that capacity, you're just limiting them. You're screwing with them. You're not like outright just censoring them.
Yep. Well, and to be fair, I mean,
3 times before they finally left.
I mean, to be fair, on Twitter, I will block people for 30 days and then let them have back on my stream. And if they do it again, I'll block them for 30 days and let them back on the stream. Eventually, they either get the point or they don't. But if they're going to use, if they're going to call me names and rant at me with no logic.
Oh, cisgendered white male.
Yep, that's usually what it sounds like. And enjoy your 30-day cool off, and 30 days later, I'm like, okay, you're back. Good luck.
Federal thiefies. Very federal thiefies.
And then it's another, you're gone. I mean, I've had those happen, man.
And you're out of here.
I had one guy, it took him...
goes flying.
I had one guy, it took him 5 times to realize I wasn't going to accept his feelings as a legitimate argument. After I told him...
You're so cruel, Mountain Man.
I am what I am.
Oh, too goddamn funny.
I'm gonna forget about you.
See,
I give no fucks.
I like arguing with them. I like hearing them go crazy when I say something that makes complete and utter no sense. I love hearing them go on rants. Some of them are just so amusing. I mean, I can't stop myself. It makes me a bad person, I know. But I don't want to block them. I want to hear them first.
Yeah.
He wants to laugh at the lamentations of their federal beefies.
See, that's the game I play, man. It's like, you know, it's like if I get in a fucking bant with somebody, it's like he who blocks first loses, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, so
a lot of times I get blocked before I block them. So
exactly.
It's
So
okay.
you win, man. That's right. You fucking won. Fuck that. I love it.
Sometimes, you know, I agree with that statement because that's the way I do things. But sometimes when they're just sitting there and spewing bullshit, like literal utter bullshit, like when I was in the it was named Vegans versus Meat Eaters group, spamming bullshit, and I'm just like, okay, block, 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 block.
I'm actually kind of glad that you guys have noticed. Facebook has added a timeout feature.
Ooh, people going in timeout on Zuckerberg.
Well, here's the kicker. It's for you to use. So if somebody posts something...
You got a safe place to go to. Here's my space.
My safe space is here on Facebook. You'll not find me in my little safe space. I can hide from everyone out here on Facebook. No one will see me. Not one person.
Yeah, I had some guy calling me a white supremacist asshole, and I'm like, and you get 30 days timeout.
That is so
like, I don't have to
stupid.
hear you calling me a...
God.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have to listen to you calling me a white supremacist when I'm not. Enjoy your 30 days of peace and quiet.
I remember the great spacing. It's like, you know, science fiction. You know, what like they put people in airlocks and space them. That's what I called it. I just my main account. I just fucking jettisoned like 70% of the people on it. I just spaced them all, man. I said, it was like I was
straight out the airlock.
Yeah, because I mean, it was literally just getting the vitriol. They were so fucking butthurt over the fucking election. I was just done, man. And then that's when I started coming over here to YouTube. And so in a way, man, they kind of, I kind of owe.
They did it to themselves.
I kind of owe them.
Time out? What's this? Kindergarten?
No shit.
Yep, it is time.
That's Emma. You broke the code, sister. And if you want to hop in my Discord, which
join us, big boobied robot lady.
Yeah, we'll make space for you.
There's
We'll
plenty
make a
of
safe
room.
space for you, buddy.
Make a safe space for you.
I don't know what these safe spaces are. I guess I'm a bad
Thank
person.
you for reminding me why I don't have Facebook.
Yeah, man.
Hey, so the pirate community uses Facebook almost exclusively to communicate, so I have to maintain Facebook. Here's what's funny. Half the community I've had to give timeouts because they were yelling at me and calling me foul names.
The bitches.
Yep. To be fair, most of the ones that were calling me names I don't really associate with anyway, so it's okay.
Because you get all the bitches.
Yeah, Tim, I sent you an invite to the server. I thought you were on here already. Ah, there it is. All right. And you're good to come straight in, all right?
Oh, Tara, I got some news for you.
What's
I'm
that?
wearing my new kilt. And my new sporran. I've got a nice brand new leather sporran.
Did she make it for you?
No, I didn't.
No. Yeah, hun, it actually clips directly onto my belt loop, so I don't have to wear a chain with it.
That's kind of cool.
Yep. Holds my cell phone, my wallet, my gun.
Ready?
Yeah,
Ready?
My flask.
Damn, you just...
I'm just ready to go, man.
You're ready to hit the golden road, man.
And yeah, the new one's black. It looks really good on me. Been getting compliments all day.
Blue ribbon on you.
Hey now, there's plenty of women who've already offered. You might have to wait in line.
I'm not asking. I'm doing it.
No comment.
Gotten it on you is because they keep asking.
Well, it's
Put the blue ribbon around there, throw it down, and go, okay, I'm done. And walk off.
kind of like that chick that cut my tie off in Mainz.
What happened?
Okay, so German Fasching, which is basically like Mardi Gras, women are not held responsible for anything they do. I didn't know about this, and I was in downtown Mainz in the middle of Fasching, and I had a silk tie on. This woman grabbed me by my tie, shoves her tongue down my throat, and then cuts the tie off my neck and walks off.
Oh, she kept the trophy, didn't she?
Yep.
Serial kisser.
Mardi Gras.
Apparently, this is traditional and happens every year.
That sounds fun. Spell that.
Fasching?
Fausch.
Yeah, ing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the equivalent of German Mardi Gras. It happens in the Rhineland region. There's a big carnival in Mainz.
Those Germans, man,
They know how to party, man.
Indeed. They got beer, man.
They got more than that.
They know the beer, man.
Beer, diddly beer.
Yeah. I heard hashish was a big thing there back in the day. Back in that day, the old day.
It still is, man. It still is. Except in the regions that are under Sharia law now.
Yeah, Tema said she's on her way, so she's coming to hang with us.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
But there she is. Speak of the devil. How you doing?
Hello.
I said hi to you before. I didn't know if you heard me.
Yeah. I was trying to say hi. I've got things going on in the background and things popping up on my screen, and I'm trying to keep up on everything. I can multitask, but I don't know if I'm that clever.
I have faith in you.
And when I use my
These
Discord, I'm
guys
touch to
can't
talk, so
multitask
it's
either.
slow.
Hey, I multitask just fine.
Hey, you know what? It's different when you're with several women
Oh God!
asking on a computer.
Oh, it's with daughters. No, girls just talk constantly. They wake up and they talk, and some of them even talk in their sleep. So it's just chatter constantly.
How many kids do you have now?
I have a total of 4, but 3 of them are still in the house.
3 daughters.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, no, I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm a total and complete tomboy, and I don't get along with a lot of women. So the universe decided that I needed nothing but daughters.
So which one's the punishment kid?
The one that's the biggest punishment?
Yeah.
The middle one.
Yeah.
The middle one. She's like 11 and she's like 5'5". She weighs like 140 pounds. She's a big girl, and she's my loudest and my most rambunctious and my most stubborn, and she's my punishment child.
Cool.
No.
No.
Well, because I'm a total dumbass and I homeschool too. So, like, I don't ever have a break from my children.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people.
they need to put something in place where you can take a break, you know? So this is
Yeah.
One of these days, somebody's going to kill somebody. It's just a matter of time.
But she's got 3 times the slave labor. I mean, I would have one of them in the fucking kitchen, excuse my language, one of them in the freaking kitchen making preserves, one of them in the gardening, and the other one sweeping the house. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Make all your work.
That sounds like you don't have any kids or you don't know what daughters are like.
True, I don't have any daughters. I will admit that.
My kids are all bookworms, though. So, like, and we have like over 1,000 books in our house. So,
nothing wrong with books.
No, there's nothing wrong with books unless that's all they want to do is read. So then they don't get anything else done. They're just literally reading all day long.
Well, see, that's how you motivate them. Then they want a new book. You do this task.
Except for that they've hung up on the other 999 books we have. So then they just go, man, I'll just read these instead.
Rationing.
Yeah, no, I don't have storage big enough for that.
Oh, darn.
All right, here's that article. Here's that article that that American Celt, or also known as Tara's brother, sent us.
The women in prison?
Yes, women should no longer be sent to prison unless they have committed a serious crime, the Justice Secretary says today, as he unveils a step change in the way the justice system deals with female offenders. Ministers want to break the cycle of sending women to jail. This has got to be Canada then.
England and Wales.
Okay. Women to jail after it emerged less than 40 women behind bars in England and Wales have committed violent offense, and most of the others are serving just a few months for crimes like shoplifting. David Guac said will today announce plans for 5 new residential women's centers where offenders should get help with drug and alcohol problems, educational support, and counseling instead of being locked up.
Fuck that.
Dude, that's going to be expensive.
No, that's ridiculous. No, if you commit a crime, you pay the time, period.
Right.
You can't make separate laws for the genders. That's ridiculous.
I don't disagree with her, guys. She's got my back. I'm testify, sister.
Back
Sorry.
to like the 1800s, when they didn't put women in prison, they dealt with their bursts by putting them in asylum, giving them shock treatment, and fucking shaving their heads for wigs.
Mm-hmm. Or they'd give them orgasms because, that's the thing.
Buy vibrators now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to fix everything, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what they were invented to curb the anxiety epidemic that was in feigning, that was going through the early, I think it was the early aughts through 20s in the United States. It may have started in the late 1800s. I'm not sure.
Couldn't have anything to do with corsets. No.
No, not at all.
You also
Andy
wanted
girdles.
to cover
Oh my
this,
God.
man. You also wanted to cover this. The Portland State University
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
Okay, so for those of y'all who haven't heard, today at Portland State University, also known as PSU, the lovely, lovely university that's in the middle of downtown Portland and takes up 4.
It's the only place with decent streets in the entire city.
That's because nobody's allowed to drive through it except if you're going through the dang school. They were protesting today because a man was shot while failing to follow the orders the cops gave him when he went to retrieve his concealed carry gun that had fallen out of his holster. And they were protesting to have the cops at PSU disarmed. Completely.
What?
Okay, so his gun fell out of his holster.
So he was
Telling
at
the
a
police that
Yeah.
he needed to get his gun, and they said no, leave it there, and he ignored them, and they shot him.
Here's how it happened, Tara, and this is per a witness. I've seen a couple of reports on this. He broke up a scuffle between 2 individuals directly across from the main campus area. He dropped his gun. The campus police were en route to respond to the issue. When the campus police got there, they saw him getting ready to bend down and pick up the gun. They told him, "Don't touch the gun," 3 times. He didn't stop. He picked the gun up and he was shot.
Is he killed?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
And the 2 cops that shot are currently on administrative leave pending a full investigation.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't doing anything.
The problem is he actually violated the first and foremost rule of any concealed carry, and I know this because I do
Comply,
carry.
comply. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're carrying a gun and a cop gives you a lawful order, you follow it. Because if you're carrying a gun and you don't, now the cop doesn't know what side you're on.
Right.
And so you're endangering your own life by failing to comply.
Is it possible the man was actually hard of hearing?
Nope. He was a student at PSU.
He was 45 years old, though.
You don't understand, Irate. We got students out here who are in their 60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
Knows
not
where
considered.
I'm getting to is he may have, had a hearing problem.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
No.
Even at 36, I have a slight hearing problem. There's certain wavelengths of sound I can't hear out of one ear.
Yeah, no, there was no reports of hearing problems, and he had 2 cops shouting the orders at him. 2 separate cops.
That makes everybody else who wants to conceal carry or does conceal carry look bad when they do that.
Yep, it really does. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it, I think this was a clean shoot. And I don't like saying it. But he should not pick up the gun after being given the order not to. He knew what the cops were called there for. He helped break up the fight.
Does it matter? How are the cops to know?
Yeah, the cops don't know when they show up. That's why they give the order and then try to resolve everything.
Well, I'm asking because, if he was hard of hearing, then, it's
You always have to remember, in any of these situations, is 9 times out of 10, the cop does not want to shoot. Always, 9 times out of 10, they don't want to shoot in these situations. Now, you're going to get a lot of these cops that they've weeded them out. Logical issues that did shoot people. I'm sorry to say there are instances where that happens, but 9 times out of 10, that cop, if he doesn't have psychological issues, does not want to pull that trigger because of all the ramifications that come with that bullet leaving that barrel.
Well, not just that. I mean, man, even in the combat zones, I didn't like having to shoot back at people, but I did because they were shooting at me.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And my point is, unless a threshold is crossed, that gun is not going to get fired. That's what I meant.
Yep.
That cop, the last thing the cop wants to do is open fire on a civilian.
Yeah.
Well,
they still don't want to do it.
Well, I'm just wondering, because it sounds like there was something else going on here.
From my understanding, they were responding to a hot call.
Yep.
Reported in the vicinity, and they came across somebody who was not compliant and had a firearm.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There had to be something else, because a lot of times when you're non-compliant and you have a firearm, they won't shoot you. It sounds like they were already keyed up and on edge as it is, the cops.
They were responding to an assault. When you're responding to a violent situation, you're going to be keyed up. I'm sorry, but it's true. If you're going in expecting 2 guys throwing down, you're already amped to have to go in and be physical.
In the past, I've actually been assaulted by cops when I've been on the scene when something has happened, just simply due to my size and the fact that I've looked menacing. They come up and they start, not like beating me, but poking me and like smacking me with their batons, like, where's your ID? Who are you? This, because they got the adrenaline, and because at the time when I was younger, I was a big fucking moose of a man. So I completely understand that reaction.
I was a pussycat.
Yeah, but still, they don't know that because, the cop's on the scene. Okay, you got a cop. The cop is 5'8", and he's 165 pounds. I'm 6'2", 280. What the cop is seeing when he gets out the car, he is seeing a human being who's got about a good 6 to 8 inches on height on him and at least a good 100 pounds of body weight. So the cop is completely justified in immediately trying to take control of that situation with all the bystanders in the vicinity because, frankly, you don't know who's going to hit you. And if I get in a sucker punch, that cop is out, and now he's at the mercy of that crowd.
Yep. Well, to be fair, man, it doesn't even have to come down to a crowd situation like that. I had a guy who was 6'4" tell me he was going to take a baseball bat to me. I'm 5'10".
So
first thing I did was I went and I grabbed a gun. Why? Because if he took a shot at me and he hit me, I was going to be at his mercy.
You know what it is? It's because when I got trapped in Woodstock at the riots.
Yeah.
I spent the entire night running from riot police with batons and shields. Like, I'm not saying that like flippantly. I mean, literally, I spent the whole night running from these fucking guys because they were really, amped because The fucking full-blown riot on a military base.
Yep.
So, even though I was being compliant, they were still trying to beat me compliant because they had that rush, the adrenaline, because, you know, you're in there and you're fighting a mob. You're prone on the ground, you're a threat.
Yep.
So that's something that people don't understand. When you're in that sort of a situation, you in as an officer and you are decked head to toe in soft armor and you have a plexi shield and you have a big ass polycarbonate wand that you're beating them with. This is like last resort shit. When they send them in with that, that means like we have to quell these people because they've gone into an animalistic state.
Yep.
Not like they're doing it because they dislike you. Just from seeing it from that look, I remember when I was a teenager, I sat in the van and I watched horrified because it happened in front of me, the fucking Crown Heights riots. I'll never forget that as long as I live. I was working with my father at the time, and he was inside on a delivery, and the shit just happened in front of me. It just broke out. It was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, the Hasidics and the black kids were tying it up, or was it when the kid got killed?
Afterwards, when the riots broke out, I was there
Right.
for the actual riots.
God damn, I bet that was terrifying.
And this is one of the things I tell like the guys on the rebels. I tell some of the younger guys, like, look, you white supremacists, you guys got no understand. You got to understand. You come out to a neighborhood like by me, a tough Jew neighborhood, they'll hand your ass to you.
Yeah.
Look how many Jew boxers there were. Look at Willie Pep. My God, his hands were like lightning.
Yep. Oh, and there were plenty of other great boxers as well, man. Even some great white, non-Jew white boxers. But
no, I know that.
But the point is you can't say that these guys can't take care of themselves. They can, and it's going to be a fight.
God, I don't think you guys have ever seen it. I got to look to see if there's any video footage, like maybe from the subways on YouTube. But I remember once I watched. It was probably right after the riots. I was a teenager at that point, so probably like 2 or 3 years afterwards. So there was still a little bit of animosity in Brooklyn. I'm over by the subway, and I seen this. I was luckily back in the cut. They didn't notice me. Hasidic guy standing there, and these 2 black teenagers. One of them, I guess, tried to rob the guy, or got wise with him or whatever. And the guy had a briefcase, and he beat the shit out of these 2 kids with his briefcase.
Yep.
Yeah. People, look, people have been trying to exterminate them for centuries. You don't want to mess with them.
Nope.
And like they teach us this in New York. You don't hear about anything in these Hasidic neighborhoods for a reason. This grows so good in their parks because they'll bury your ass standing straight up and they won't find you. Wouldn't think it. No, seriously, you wouldn't think it. It's a known fact. Like I was telling this to one of the black kids I worked with at the landfill, and he's like, "You kidding me?" And all the older black guys in the room started nodding, like, "Do not go into those Jewish neighborhoods and fuck around." That's the reason you don't hear about crime. Think about it. You have all these Jewish neighborhoods where there's like jewelry stores and all this nice shit in the stores. I mean, their neighborhoods are beautiful. You'd think, okay,
And there's no crime.
because God forbid they catch you committing crimes in their neighborhood, they just kill you and bury you. It's like an open secret.
Oh, yeah, that's why Grandpa Irving has that 44 Magnum behind the counter at the liquor store. He don't care. You came in to rob him. He's going to shoot and tell the cops later, if he tells them at all.
What they'll do is they'll literally, it's like the massage shit. They will slit your throat, wrap you up in a carpet, and they will just take you and bury you in the fucking park. And you'll never be seen again. They will dig a hole with a post hole digger and bury you standing up.
Jesus.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
That's how they do it. That's you want to. The joke is around by me. You want to see. We would go past the parks in like Manhasset, and you point out the Jewish cemetery. They would call it the flower beds.
Dude, man, they don't fucking play, do they?
Everyone talks about the Sicilians. Everyone talks about the Italians. Everyone talks about the blacks. Everyone talks about the Spanish. But no one talks about the Hasidics because they don't advertise this shit. They are ruthless. You don't fuck around in their neighborhood. They'll kill you and you will never be seen again.
Well, it's like, I think it's nobody talks, and they want it that way.
There's certain neighborhoods you just don't go into them. It don't matter what color the people are. It's a cultural thing. So look, my father's people, they have the saying, "Omerta."
Yeah.
You don't say nothing, and people will come around and you'd say to them, no gabish. That's all you'd hear, no gabish. It's literally, and they're not going to talk to the cops. It's just how it is. It's a cultural thing. Reason, a lot of these ethnic neighborhoods. I won't go like certain neighborhoods, like a really Irish neighborhood who's been Irish for years. I'm not going into certain parts of Red Hook.
Yeah.
Irish. I'm not part of that neighborhood.
Nope.
I'm an intruder. I'm an outsider.
Yeah, that's why I don't go walking through Roseland, man. I'll get shot.
Telling them on the last stream I was just doing with Trippy. I was just, because they couldn't understand why, in certain cities, if you're wearing certain clothes, couldn't understand it. And I explained to him. I said, if I paid my dues and I busted my ass and I'm dressed in a certain outfit, this is a New York mentality. If I'm dressed a certain way here, and you come up and you're wearing the same outfit as me or something similar, if you're a nobody and you're trying to flash clout like that the same way as me, nah, fuck you. Take your shit off right now or I'm taking it off. That's the mentality. That's what I was trying to explain to them.
Yeah, we've got, the way our neighborhoods are cut up is they're territories. Not just communities, but they're also territories for different groups.
Turf still.
Yeah. Like for my guys, for example, everyone either has like the old school greaser get up with the sweaters and shit with the patches, or they look like they're a bunch of warriors running around in kung fu vests and shit.
It's lesser to a degree here because in the 80s everything went legit. All the gangs became, fucked up. They all actually became like, incorporated. It's wild, but that's how a lot of them are now. Like, you'll come around and, I had a term, I don't care what anyone says, it's like low-key organized crime.
Yeah. Our crime used to be organized, but then they broke up the mobs, and now it's just a bunch of gangbangers, different t-shirts and crappy pants running around screwing stuff up.
Thanks, Fuckwad, for the 20.
The gangs, what happened now is the gangs in certain neighborhoods, like let's say you go into Bushwick, and I forget what Bushwick, the name of their gang was. Well, now all the gangbangers who were in like their 50s, they all own they own a liquor store, they own the bodega, they own all that shit, and they rent it out to like the Indians, and those are who the landlords are. So, yeah, that's why if you go into Harlem, the reason Harlem is so good is because the gangbangers, basically, the gangsters and the criminals own everything. It's all white-collar crime. Crime went down in New York, and, I hate trying to take it away from the government, but that's not what it was. The criminals all just realized if they took control of everything, they could actually moderate the crime. It's amazing how much the crime went down. The minute these idiots figured out that they could go legit, crime disappeared. It wasn't anything that Giuliani did. I like Giuliani, but we could make more money being legit.
Yeah, you can, because people are more likely to deal with you if you're legit.
That they figured out that they can use their same tactics, because they took the model that the excuse me, from dealing for years with the Teamsters.
Yep.
Teamsters were a legit organization that used their tactics. And that's Big Paul Castellano was the first one. He said, we're dealing with these union mooks. Why don't we just use their tactics? Well, Big Paul, we're going to lose anywhere from 40 to 60% of our revenue if we do this. And he said to him, he's like, but how much are we paying out in legal fees? Think about it. And they adopted Big Paul's model. It's just a shame that they shot that man. If he would have been alive, I think that the crime would have been even lower. He would have made them go into more legitimate shit. He was good for the neighborhood. That fucking bum Gotti had to shoot him. I'm sorry, you guys got me talking about this shit. I'll go off on a tangent all night.
No, man, that's legit, and I think it's good that people hear that, because a lot of people don't know what actually happened. You are right, a lot of the organized crime went legit in a lot of the major cities, and that's what caused a lot of the crime to reduce. And in some of the smaller cities in the U.S., crime went feral, and that's what caused the surge of heavier crime. That's why Chicago got all torn up.
The worst part of it, I hate saying it, it's the, you know, it comes down to the fucking immigration policies again too.
That's some of it, yeah.
You saw my state. I'm glad the Democrats got broadsided with a taste of their own medicine, and I'll be honest with you. Luckily, I think that their own party is at least smart enough not to let this girl destroy New York State. So hopefully. I'm hoping that they just... Yeah, I'm hoping that they're going to keep her censured for most of her term. I think it's only 2 years, so... Yeah. We get rid of her. Bless you.
Shout out to Goat Man there.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that they can keep her under wraps, because if she gets herself loose and she gets enough support, things are going to get bad.
Well, the upside of this is, it's because I've been friggin' screaming it from the mountaintops since she got elected. I kept saying about the MakeTheRoadNewYork.org, which is, they literally will take, if you're Latino, you to and from, to however you need to get around to get all of your stuff done, quote unquote. Basically what they're doing is, you know, okay, come vote here, okay, come vote here, come vote here, come vote here. You know, is this Carlos A. Gomez? No, it's Carlos B. Gomez. That's Carlos A. This is Carlos C. They're doing that sort of shit.
Yep.
Using oversaturation to overwhelm an inadequate system. And that's how this goes. They couldn't figure out, how, oh my God, how did she get elected? Well, okay, the leftists took your playbook and gave it steroids. That's what they basically did, and they got this girl elected.
Yep, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Oh, seriously. It's getting bad.
I want to say hey to Goat Man and Gulf City Freedom Man. He goes, socialism will never work. Duh. And it's like, you'd think fucking people would have figured that out by now, you know? It's like after, what, over 150 years, you know, the Soviet Union was the longest, and they didn't even go 100 years. So, you know, there's never been they're not even close to 100 years. They're like, what, they're like 60, 70 years now?
And it didn't work for 40. Well, China, okay, so China's a little different, though, because it's more of a communistic state with a militaristic, authoritarian leadership. And even, like, you know, everybody keeps saying, oh, communism hasn't been tried, real socialism hasn't been tried. Well, I guess if you got a bunch of hippies on a fucking commune and everybody's high, it will work. But outside in the real world, where you have more than 8 people... Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, no, I know, because they have fights over who gets to screw who and all that kind of stuff, and it's all lovely, but...
Yeah, I lived on a commune in '98. It was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I lived on a commune up in Cordelia, New York. And
Venezuela's exactly... So, like, it's terrible. Venezuela, they're eating their pets and animals in the zoo, and they're selling their children for money. It's not going to work. Taking other people's stuff and giving it to somebody else is not going to work, ever. It just makes people bitter and makes them stop working.
Not only that, but it causes you to stop trying, too, to create new stuff.
Well, and then you have to start killing people for incentive, you know?
Yep.
You know, I tell people all the time, I argue because of where I live, and I'm sure, Mountain Man, you go through the same shit with all these little friggin' hammer and sickle bastards, but... I said, you do realize, I said, Marx wrote that book before unions existed. I said, what you can look at is a precursor for a labor union. I said, because labor unions basically hit all of the earmarks that you want from communism anyway. I said, and you still have freedom, and you're not getting your shit taken away from you, and you're still operating in a capitalistic market. I said, technically, you can look at it that way. Like, if you tweak communism a little bit, where it's no longer deadly, you got a labor union.
And I do agree with you that aspects of labor unions do resolve some of the issues. But here's something that a lot of people don't really bring up. Marx wrote his stuff in the mid-1700s. Capitalism was just starting. It was actually mercantilism that he was dealing with at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, mercantilism was government-sponsored business.
Right, like the tulip business in Amsterdam.
That's what I was going to say. The Dutch started it.
And it wasn't just the Dutch. I mean, the East India Trading Company.
Yeah.
It was sponsored by the British Empire.
Exactly.
They had exclusive contracts and rights. Well,
That's just nepotism.
Yeah, when you strip away the mercantilism of capitalism and you actually let people compete without any intervention, a lot of your issues from it disappear. Because at that point, people are allowed to actively compete and combat each other and keep prices down and create a much more... The hand actually works, but when you block the hand, when you block the invisible hand, you end up with all sorts of weird consequences.
Yeah. Well, I think the other problem that you see with, especially with what Marx wrote, is this is a man who had never actually worked a day in his life. He lived off his family's wealth and the wealth of other people his entire life, and he was a disgusting human being that did a bunch of really disgusting stuff, and like to rape his maid in front of his guests and things. I mean, he was a disgusting person. So it kind of makes sense that he would come up with such a twisted way of looking at how people can live. You got to consider the source when it comes to him.
I would love. I was going to say I would love to see one of these youngins, these neo socialist youngins, hear that fact. It's like, yeah, he used to rape his maids in front of his house, his dinner guests. I wonder what their reaction would be. I would pay to see that.
Oh, they don't. They say it's not true. They'll tell you it's a lie.
Right. No true Scotsman.
Here's one even better for you. He got his housemaid pregnant and he kicked her to the curb.
Dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
One of his housemates, he got pregnant and he dismissed her summarily when he found out she was pregnant, and did not assist in the raising of the child.
Oh no, he kicked them to the street. She ended up dying about 8 years later. I mean, she didn't live very much longer. And she ended up being like a prostitute or something. Like, she couldn't make it because she was a single mom.
Yep.
No, it's freaking terrible. It's unbelievable how horrible Karl Marx was. It's just like if you look at Joseph Stalin. That man was a monster. Che Guevara, a monster. Most of these
a racist monster.
Great thinkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, a racist monster that liked to kill children.
Yeah.
It amazes me that anybody like.
We have to have each other's back.
What?
Yeah. No, it's like I've always baffled at the resurgence of eugenics. We call it the alt-right, but let's be real, it's the resurgence of eugenics, and it amazes me that this is even something we are talking about right now. It just blows my mind.
We do have to have each other's back.
The Democrat Party actually created the eugenics movement originally. And
Thanks, Freedom.
Hitler adopted it as part of his solution set in Nazi Germany.
Yes.
Well, I don't know, it's fucked up.
I call it the return of the three extremes, is because everyone's literally dusting off all these antiquated ideologies from like the 1930s and going, all right, let's barely spruce this up and say it's a good idea.
I told you I've been to that place, right? Where they invented eugenics. It's out by me. It's out east. It's in Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah.
Really, that was the thing. They gave us a field trip out there when I was younger. Cause
seriously?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I told them my neighborhood was the home of the National Socialist Workers Party in America in the 30s and 40s. So they still even up until the late 90s, they still had ties to that shit. That they didn't have any problems hiding it. It was only after I graduated where you would go into the Village Hall Museum and you see that all the shit was gone. They actually had at one point a picture in there, and you'd see when they were dedicated to junior high. They have the couple of people standing there with their suits doing the ceremonial first shovel.
Right.
Had them standing there, and they had a plaque. And on one side of the plaque was a Boy Scout holding up the corner, and on the other side was a Hitler Youth with the armband.
Yep. Oh, guys, it turns out that guy who got knocked out in Portland, he was actually one of the Eugene Antifa.
Oh, okay. What does that mean? Tell us.
So, Eugene is the city that the University of Oregon is in.
Right.
Eugene Antifa is the University of Oregon Antifa.
So they got their own Antifa chapter at that university.
Yep, pretty much.
Joy. Maybe I should crash the party.
It's why are these people still gathering, and why are they not being arrested or investigated like they're supposed to be?
Mayor Katz of Eugene supports socialism.
Ugh. Well, that. Oh, never mind.
So did Soros bust them to fucking Portland?
No, they probably hitched up the 5, man. It's only a 2-hour drive.
Oh. I'm just thinking.
I go down to Eugene all the time. I got a girlfriend that lives down there. She owns a little micro farm inside the city limits.
That's kind of rad.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's kind of really rad.
Yeah, she's got fig trees, apple trees, pear trees, raspberry bushes.
Pear trees?
Oh, pears grow great up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
This is like
so
prime
cool.
property. This is prime climate for them.
Pears and
Big
apples,
and beautiful. They're
man.
gorgeous. Yeah.
And she's running a medicinal grow as well in her backyard. So yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
Dude. And yeah, it's peach season now, so some of the great freestones are coming in. Yay, Albertas! God, the best juicy fucking peach.
Yeah, man. If I wasn't getting ready to move, I'd be canning peaches right now.
Because I still got to wait a couple of months before the orchards are ready up here.
Well, and the cherries are available right now too, and I've been seriously thinking about going and buying some cherries and putting them in the last. And
do you have the Black Pit?
No, we have North Stars, Northwests, Rainiers, and Pie.
Bings. We have Bings up here.
We have Bings up here too. Yeah.
Well, Rainiers ain't too bad.
Rainiers are tart. I like Bings better. They're smoother. Like they have a smoother flavor, and the fruit, the meat is less squishy.
Yeah.
It's firmer.
Those are good too. It's really like the Black Pit ones. Those like, oh god, those are like a perfect plum in micro size.
Yeah, they're like candy.
You ever have a green Granny Smith apple?
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Early Bronx apples. That's originally that strain is from. That's actually where New York gets the name the Big Apple.
Oh wow.
Cool.
Actually,
was that for a World's Fair? I was going to say, was that for a World's Fair? It's good, you think?
I got to look into that, but I mean, those are literally like my neighbor had one of those trees in the backyard when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to just go into my backyard and get fresh apples all day.
So goddamn good. Yeah. Tart.
Yeah, I think that because of how small the yards are and because of proximity to the city and everything, but people around here will just throw a tree up in their backyard and it'll take up the whole yard, but they'll have fresh fruit.
Yep. Well, and I mean, my girlfriend's got plenty of room in her yard. I mean, she's got a medicinal grow going, and she's got a hot tub, and she's got some. I was going to help her plant some snap beans and some cucumbers and some squash and stuff. So she's got a decent sized yard. She's on about 2 acres.
Oh god, I miss having 2 acres. Oh, yeah.
If you like, to give you an idea, I've seen people where they have, and you'll have to excuse the term. It's a local term. I hate trying to pronounce that right because my accent murders that word.
Colloquialism.
I sound so stupid. That's why I paused myself when I started to say it because my accent butchers it. But there's a local saying around here, and the term they use is guinea gardens. And the reason they use that term is a lot of the folks from the old country would come here, and you would have very little space. So they would plant everything, and they would grow things like straight up. So they would have they'd have things hanging out of hanging planters. They'd have vegetables growing there. They'd have fruit growing wherever they could.
Yep.
Boxes. Yeah, you can come into certain areas. It'll maybe be about the same size as a prison cell in their backyard, and there'll be plants, vegetables, and fruit everywhere. Just every square inch that they possibly can. Shit pinned up on the fence. Just vines growing everywhere. that is the one thing that we have here. Like, a lot of people, they'll go into their backyard and it's like their own little oasis because you have nothing up here. But
oh no, man, they've started doing it out here too. Believe it or not, they have started doing it out here. California is actually notorious for it at this point because all the cookie cutter homes have all these tiny postage stamp parcels. And so what they're doing is they're doing what they call vertical farming.
But you don't have a choice because you're not allowed to put anything in the ground in most of those counties. You have to get a permit to put in garden beds in a third of them.
Yeah. And so what they'll do is they'll use containers and raised beds and hangers and such. And so they'll grow all their food that way, or they'll grow a lot of food that way.
we're allowed to claim rainwater.
Go to jail.
Oh yeah, yeah. In
to,
California, you'll go to jail for collecting rainwater.
Really? Here because
yeah. You don't even get tickets. They will freaking arrest you. You was it up to 18 months in jail for three violations or something?
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
God.
And God forbid you have a rain barrel.
That is some fucked up shit, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Actually, the reason we're allowed to get away with it is because we're an island in the middle of the North Atlantic.
Yeah.
There's no access to fresh water other than what gets pumped here.
Yeah.
Basically, they said, you know, we had that because New York State tried to pass the same shit with the no water reclamation and basically said, no, we need this water for, you know, like to water shit with, like in the plants and everything, because no one actually drinks the claimed rainwater. They just use it for agriculture around here. Long Island, actually, per capita, our size out east, we produce more wine per capita on Long Island than California does. Wine country is just, the soil is just really good. We're actually the two things we produce that we produce more per capita wine and we produce more per capita potatoes than Idaho. Idaho produce more by volume is what it is.
So, by square footage, right? By space that's available?
Space that's available, we got the West Coast beat and we got Idaho beat, bar none, because our soil is much better, but the area is just so much smaller. You know?
You got loam.
Actually, legally, I could actually start a vineyard in my backyard. I'm zoned for it. The entire island, Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, Suffolk, is zoned where you can have a vineyard. Anywhere, as long as you can grow grapes, you can have a vineyard.
Nice.
Fuck, I just love eating grapes, man. Seedless grapes, fuck it. They're great.
I grew up in California wine country on the Central Coast, and out there, like the wine is good. Like, they have really, really good wines coming from the Central Coast. But really, the best foods that you're going to get from there, strawberries, artichokes, and avocado.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the produce coming from that. Oh, my God.
Oh, man. It's like I was surrounded by organic farms and vineyards for most of my life. And it was just wonderful. I loved it.
It makes me that what's happened to the West Coast, it breaks my heart.
Well, I hate it, because they keep shutting everything down. Freaking environmentalists are stopping production on everything, and it's just, there's no way to make food, and it sucks. I hate watching my home state. We were basically forced to leave the state about 10 years ago. There's just no way to survive, and I hate that. I had to leave the area I knew, the culture I knew, and I had to move. And that sucked.
Oh, that sucks.
It sucked.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna hop out. I got an invite to the Minions.
Ooh, go have fun.
Oh, Quiz, I said hello. I might hop in with them later. I gotta see. Sweat like a slave here. Oh, man, it's hot. Fucking heat wave. Is it beating on you guys, too?
Yeah, it's fucking hot as hell. It's fucking Alabama. It's July. Hello.
Well, hello. We're getting your heat. It's shooting up the side of the coast rapid. I mean,
I'm surprised you can't smell my armpits, man.
Right now, it is 11:30 p.m. at night by me, and it's still 92 degrees.
Wow. We got 10:30. Oh, let me find out from Uzi Q what the temp is. Give me 1 second.
It's currently
It's cool
85
enough,
in my apartment.
It's cool enough right
Hey,
now that I'm
Six?
thinking about putting on a coat.
It's currently
it's so hot
85
by
in my
me.
apartment.
Is
I don't think I have.
Hi.
I'm
hey, bro, you're gonna like it.
Hey, Six, how you doing?
arrived in a better state here. My AC is dead.
Oh,
And
man.
Oh.
It's 85 degrees in here. I've called. I don't think they're home.
The cat
Called.
okay?
Fine. It's just. I've been in sweltering heat all day, and sweltering heat. It's kind of a shitty situation. So that's
I'm sorry. Going without AC sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been hot these past few days, man.
I called him. I left a message. I even went by the maintenance guy's place and knocked on the door, but I don't think they were home. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, and I gotta be at work tomorrow at 8:30.
Oh, jeez.
So you're just not going to sleep.
Actually, yeah.
I'm so sorry. We spent
Dude,
10
I
years
wish
out in Texas. I know what it's like to not have AC out in the middle of nowhere, and I was pregnant at the time, so that was fun. Yeah. I know your pain, brother.
I wish there was something I could do for you, Six. Sorry, man.
It's not so bad when it happens in winter or late fall. And smack dab in the middle of summer.
Yeah, smack dab in the middle of summer is definitely the worst time for your AC to go out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Portland was surprisingly chilly today. In fact, it's in the 60s right now.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm feeling like putting on a jacket.
I'm sitting here in my kilt, and I'm like, it might be a little too cool for the kilt tonight.
Take some of that weather, man.
Freeze us Antifa bastards.
So did you guys hear about what was going on in Cleveland this week?
Do tell.
So a guy had a terrorist plot he was putting together to bomb people on the 4th of July.
Of course.
Yeah, Demetrius Pitts, also known as Abu Rahim Rafiq, wanted to kill Americans who were watching fireworks during the 4th of July parade in Cleveland.
Did he blow himself up?
No. Instead of contacting Al-Qaeda, who he thought he had contacted, he ended up getting a hold of FBI undercover operative. And so they picked him up today.
This guy thought he was dialing 1-800 terrorist supplies, and he dialed who?
The FBI.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Dude, did you not hear about the Christmas tree bomber out here in Portland?
No.
Same fucking shit, man. He was going to blow up the Portland Christmas tree lighting back in 2010.
Yeah?
Well, he went online and he was trying to find somebody to help him build a bomb from Al-Qaeda. He ended up getting in touch. He ended up getting in touch with the FBI instead. And so they told him that they set up the bomb and handed him a cell phone and told him the code to press. And he entered the freaking code and hit send and yelled Allah Akbar, and they grabbed him.
He might as well say, just come and get me, nigga.
Because there was no bomb. Wow. The FBI had lied to him, and so now they're trying to claim entrapment on him.
Good Lord. That's funny.
Yeah.
No, that's all his fault.
Yep. He's right up there with the shoe bomber and the underwear bomber and the 4 that came out of Portland that helped with 9/11.
Good Lord.
Fucking
hell. Oregon's produced a lot of terrorists, man.
I feel great about incidentally being dropped here, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I'm still kind of miffed that the mosque up the street won't tell anybody which faction it's from.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, I bought this house back in 2008. In 2013, they started building a mosque about 12 blocks away.
Maybe we should get people with picket signs that ask several questions.
The problem is it's private property. It's all behind a fence.
Oh.
So they can ignore you.
It's no fun to ignore you.
There's no way to effectively picket the place, and I've sent requests as to which faction they are, and they've refused to respond.
That's the thing that sucks about mail.
I was polite, you know. I'm like, hey, I was just wondering, you know, what group does this mosque belong to?
Yeah.
You know,
who do I have to avoid? Who should I be not saying, you know, hello to on the day?
Who should I offer a pork sandwich to?
Where do I drop off this bacon?
Well, I was mostly concerned because I wanted to make sure it wasn't the faction in southern Turkey that's got a death warrant out on me.
You got
it's
people
kind of important for me to know.
You got people in southern Turkey that have got a fatwa on your ass, man. How the fuck did that happen?
Man, back in when I was on active duty, man, I was down there helping them deal with Syrians crossing the border and creating terrorism. And
you were doing
like
the Balkans and shit, right?
I did the Balkans before that.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I've got multiple overseas service tour stripes, man. Yeah, I was in southern Turkey, and I was the pagan lay worship leader for the UN facility that we were operating out of. One of the locals found out, and I had to be flown out immediately.
Good Lord.
Yep.
Wow.
Thank God it was only me they figured out. The rest of the pagans that were there, nobody figured out. And they were safe, but... Yep. It's not just Turkey either. I can't go into the UAE. Of course I ran.
Because, you know, we all want to go to the UAE, though. I mean, right?
I've got a bug up my ass, too. I know that's right.
I probably can't go to Saudi Arabia either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kuwait. I do actually want to at one point make my way over to the UAE and Saudi Arabia myself.
They just started letting women driving, man. Shit.
No interest in going there.
Excuse
me.
Damascus
is gorgeous. Damascus is gorgeous. But
it can be gorgeous. I'll look at it in pictures.
Yeah, same here.
I don't want to run the risk of being publicly disemboweled if I step off a plane.
Yeah, I second that. I don't want to step into a country where they got to put a bag over me and stuff and make me obey a bunch of bullshit laws just so I can be a tourist.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. If I have to wear special clothes to go on vacation, I'm not doing it unless it's a fucking jacket. Excuse my mouth, but yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm not, whatchamacallit, I'm not a meme fortune son. I'm not going to run around in one of those ridiculous outfits.
Well, Burnside, I'm talking about something very different than them putting a hood over your head.
I know, you actually got, like, they're hunting for you.
Well, if the fatwa is in effect, they would string me up by my feet, open my abdomen from my testicles to my sternum, and let everything fall out.
Ow.
Yeah. What was that, Scoob?
Well, there goes my dinner.
That's what that is. That they disembowel you, and depending on how they cut you, they can cut you where that doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You'll just slowly bleed to death. Yeah.
You know it. You do it right. Yep. Absolutely.
If they open, I think they got to lean back when they open you up ways. That way they don't hit the intestines or anything inside, and everything just spills out.
Yep. And believe me, I don't want to experience that.
Yeah, I think I'll take a pass on that too.
I don't want you to experience that. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, good
thank
God.
you, Irate.
No, I'm serious, man. It's like, it's like, well, at least they don't know you as Vetran Mountainman, do they? So.
No, they don't.
That's
They
right.
don't.
So they can kiss my ass and your ass too.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm retreating to a mountain in Tennessee, man. I know when I get there, ain't nobody gonna come take my guns, and if they try, well, they gonna have to dig me out like a Blue Mountain tick.
That's right.
Nice.
Because at that point, once I take that land, I'm giving it up from there on.
Oh, I hear you there, man.
Yeah, no, I miss the South. I'll tell you, it's the place to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm in the middle of getting everything ready to go. I'm hoping to be gone by September. Because I can't do the Pacific Northwest anymore. They've gone too crazy.
Which sucks, man.
That's fucking nuts.
Well, what's funny is when I got here back in 2005, people didn't care if you carried a gun. People didn't care if you wanted to own 20 guns. People didn't care if you owned a big dog. And now it's...
Yeah, I'm having a hard time, talking to people here. It's really hard to just strike up a conversation. Nobody's mean or rude, or it's not like being in Washington, but it's really, really hard to, break into the social circles and get things going here. Because
you're not one of them.
Oh.
You don't think exactly like them. You don't do everything that they do. You don't go to the local communist coffee shop and sit and listen to Marxist slam poetry being read. Yeah.
That's what the problem was, and I tell people all the time, because for all intents and purposes, I was one of these people, and then they just abandoned. Always believed in my entire life. I've always been an environmentalist. Part of the reason I voted for Trump was because he was the only one talking about China. China is horrific what they do to the environment, what they do to their people, the human rights violations. When other environmentalists were screaming about how Trump's this, Trump's that, I'm like, are you guys aware of what's going on in China? And it's because it's the left wing. And this is why I tell people all the time, these aren't real environmentalists. These people are fake because they don't read the research. Yeah. They haven't read the research at all.
Yeah, their only research is Al Gore's fucking propaganda.
You got to realize, I was one of those kids who was going around. When my first election was one of those putzes that you would see walking around in the yellow T-shirt with the big green recycle symbol on the fucking front of it. Hi, you want to vote for Al Gore?
Hell no!
One of those kids. And,
See, Scooby, I never fell for Al Gore's bullshit.
Not no, but hell
when
no.
When he went to go be vice president, the whole state had a celebration.
None of us up here knew anything about Southern politics. We were all environmentalists because the rich people were destroying our home.
Yeah.
People coming out here from all over the country. That's when the real estate boom started. And you had people coming from they all wanted to live in New York. And they all bought these speedboats. They overfished our waters. And so a lot of us were environmentally leaning because we didn't know that we all thought that they were all Republicans. Because they were rich. Yeah, we didn't know that. We were very ignorant of it because, it was a working class neighborhood. And then all of these yuppies and liberals started moving in here. always identify. He told me, he's like, I said, Dad, are you conservative? And he said to me, he's like, you know, I always thought I was liberal because I have no problem with a woman wearing pants. He's like, the political climate has shifted. He's like, I have no idea how I identify now.
See, and I've never even considered that an issue. I mean, you know, I don't care if a woman wants to wear pants or a skirt or a dress. Whatever she wants to wear is fine with me.
You have to realize, in the 50s, it was an issue. Oh, my God. I'm trying to do the mathematics in my head. All right, to give you an idea, in 1969, my father was already 35 years old.
Yeah.
At that point. If he was alive today, he'd be 83 or 84 years old. This is a man who served in Korea as a UDT, and then in his 30s, he said, oh, I can't take this shit, and he enlisted in the National Guard so he could fight the hippies.
Oh, man.
My father is one of the few people that he used to say all the time. I fought communists, both foreign and domestic.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, a lot of the hippies in the 60s were domestic communists.
Yeah, but they didn't call themselves that at the time.
They didn't call themselves that, but communists rarely call themselves communists.
That's because they understand how dirty the word communist actually is.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at these Venus Project guys that think that automation is going to remove all need for labor. It's communism with AI.
That's scary.
I had this talk with somebody, and I think I destroyed their whole world because they were communists and they were going on about, well, you know, automation is going to replace handcrafted labor, and they said, talking about their communist future again.
Yeah,
it's bullshit. I said, you know what an automated, all this automation is going to create? And they said, what? I said, you're going to see a resurgence in craftsmanship.
Yep.
Crafting things. And they go, well, how can you say that? I said, okay. Audio equipment we have nowadays. And the hottest thing right now is turntables and vinyl.
Well, shoot, Scoob, you can use me as an example. Breweries, modern breweries are automated out the wazoo. They produce hundreds of barrels a day. People would much rather drink from my taps where I can't even produce a barrel a week.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the craft shit just tastes better.
My stuff tastes better.
Handcrafted stuff tastes better. That's the one thing I say hipsters kind of have right, is that they like artisan stuff. And it's one of the few things that I can enjoy about hipsterdom is that artisan handcrafted obsession they have.
Oh, that's the thing that these people don't realize is their automation is going to cause a rise in that artisan shit, because now once you have everything automated, I don't have to do anything. I can concentrate on making those handcrafted flutes. I can concentrate on making those handcrafted tools like a hammer or a handsaw made the way it used to be 200 years ago. I can do X, Y, Z now because I have the time. And people will pay out of pocket for those handcrafted items. I said, so all that their automation is doing, I said, you're going to cause a resurgence in handcrafted goods and artisan items.
Scooby,
that's what it's going to cause.
Scooby, are you really in real life Zamfir, master of the pan flute?
No, that's me. That's me, right, folks. I am Zamfir.
Remember those commercials? And where's Miss Cleo? Which one of you people is Miss Cleo? Sit away, out yourself right now. I want to know my future.
Yeah, Scoob, I mean, I'm about to spend a couple of $100 to have some cloth imported from Wales to do a specialty kilt for me. And this stuff is all specialty woven, custom. And I'm going to spend like $200-300 just on the cloth. But
and that's what I was. Yeah, and that's why I was trying to tell these people when I was telling them, like, the automated shit they're talking about. I said, all that means like you go to the supermarket, all your shit is done. You got your week shopping, everything will be done faster. I said it's just going to leave more time for, like you said, people to make a handcrafted kilt.
Yeah.
or more people are going to be going to cobblers and haberdashers and tailors.
Yeah.
The resurgence in that because you don't. It's once it becomes optional and not mandatory. Like, think about it. How often do you see kids do shit that if there was a school project they drag their feet, but when it's under their own volition, they jump at it.
Yeah.
But they don't have to do it. You're going to see people doing
I'm
more
the same
handcrafted
way.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I was younger, I really got into all that costume design and shit and cosplay.
Yeah. Because, you have, like, your age, Burnside. You're, I think 14 years younger than me. 14 years ago, I had to do a lot more things that I don't have to do now because automation has moved certain things forward. You don't have to, so I have more free time to do other shit.
Oh, yeah, man. And, it's a lot easier to do more than one thing at a time nowadays with all the automation that we have.
Make your craft beer, you make your mead, you make all of your handcrafted shit. Burnside makes his things, Prostate has his projects. These dickheads thought that once everything is automated, people are going to become useless.
Yeah.
Leisure time for philosophy. No, you're not, because you're going to start to experience, like, I can do this for myself, I can do this, I don't need to... once you are free of having to do something, then want comes into it, and...
Oh, yeah. Well, man, why do you think?
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm doing what I'm doing? I mean, I'm looking to go into semi-retirement, and I'm going to make wine professionally. Why? Because I want to.
So that's the beauty. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
You can just go and pick up a bottle of Yellowtail, and have more free time, or you could do this what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And that they don't grasp it. Why is he going to make it? He can go buy the Yellowtail.
Well, first of all, what I make tastes better.
Right. But I'm just saying, they just can't understand that either. They just can't understand that you keep doing something simply for the joy of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's because these kids are a bunch of joyless bastards.
Well, to be fair, communism is the theft of personal enjoyment.
That's so sad.
Yeah, communism's a total dream.
That's a great quote.
If you want to do anything, communism's not a place for you.
Well, I mean,
if you have any ounce of creativity or thought in your
individuality.
head,
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't believe me, go look at the stuff produced in Soviet Russia, the artwork produced in Soviet Russia.
Well, okay, so I'm a child. I was born in the 70s, and I'm a child of the 80s. I went to school.
Square on a canvas and got fucking arrested for it because it wasn't state approved.
Yep.
What were you saying, Tema?
I went to school with a bunch of kids that their families were refugees from Russia, from all of the Eastern Bloc, basically. I went to school with a lot of kids that were, and it was amazing to me. Common everyday stuff that we always took for granted: working heaters, working air conditioning, cars that drove, lunch
technology
at school.
That was past 1960.
Yeah, brick cell phones because it was the 80s. Skateboards, stuff like that just blew their minds, and they were so grateful for everything they got to draw. If they got colorful clothing, they were excited. They were some of the most brightly dressed people I'd ever seen in my life, and it was amazing to me that they had no concept of all this stuff until they came to America. It's living with people that experienced communism has made me an even stauncher disliker of something like collectivism in that sense.
Well, and it's not just communism. It realistically comes down to central planning and authoritarianism in its entirety. Look at some of the African nations. For little girls to have anything that has any color to it, they're taking bottle caps and punching holes in them and tying string to them. Because the central planning has so decimated their economies, and so there's no way to get anything.
I remember when I was a kid, because I'm probably around the same age as you, Tima, and because I was in grade school in the 80s too, and I remember in the late 80s. I remember when I was a kid when they first started moving those people in from the Eastern Bloc, and you would have a lot of scuffles and altercations with these kids, and they could fight really good. And I was always huge, so these kids would always get nasty with me. And so my thing was, I approached them with my hands. When I say my hands up, my palms out, like, "Hey, look, I got no trouble." And I was asking them, I'm like, look, you know, you guys not like the country? And they were all these guys were like Polish of this country. I go, oh, then why do you have such an attitude with all of us? And they're like, we don't respect any of you. I go, well, that's fucked up. How could you not respect us? And the one guy, without even missing a beat, he said every day when I would come home, he's like, I had to wait online for hours for a loaf of bread. Walking home, he's like, there would be 5 to 7 guys standing there waiting for me, cracking their knuckles because they wanted that loaf of bread. He said, tonight we had bread. I said, oh, okay, I gotcha. That was a lot of what like my experience with them was. These guys, they had it tough, and
yeah.
I just feel bad, you know, because a lot of like these younger kids didn't have that experience, because that's a bit of an eye opener when you got people that are sitting there and they're like, you know, I mean, I'd see like, because it sounds dickish, but you know, you see like a bunch of Americans roll up on like 1 or 2 of these guys, and the Americans will get their clocks cleaned because to fight for their daily bread.
Yep.
Mm.
Wish that these kids would have had that experience.
Dudes.
That put me on a straight path.
Guys,
dealing with those folks.
We're looking at like it's really about I've got about 4 till. You want to go ahead and do the exit shill so we can exit on time, if not a little bit over. Tim,
works for me, man.
Tim, what we do here at this point is that we usually let ladies, of course, we always let ladies first because that's the right thing to do. And what you do is you shill any kind of stream or video that you've got coming up that you want to promote. Any weekly thing that you do, you know, let us know about it. And then when you're done, you pass it on to the next person you see.
Cool. Okay. My name is Atem of the Hun. My channel is Atem of the Hun. I do streams and videos when I can. And look for me on everywhere. I'm a total stream whore at this point. And if you want to follow me and harass me on the Twitters, it's the Atem of the Hun. Thanks so much for having me on, Irate.
Killer. And Scooby, you seen that?
Yep, you guys know the deal. I'm Scooby331. You can follow me here on YouTube. I'm on Minds.com, Gab AI, Patreon and PayPal, and I am still in limited state on Twitter because Jack Dorsey is a punk.
Indeed. 6?
Wednesday morning, I'm going to try to have my first breakfast stream, but we'll see if that works. Announced it on Twitter today sometime this afternoon. I don't know.
Okay. Veteran?
Well, guys, I've got some new news I'm going to be doing up tomorrow morning. It's about Seattle and some crazy stuff that's been going on the left coast. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, because this is definitely something that's going to cause some people to go, what the heck? So make sure you check in for my Regulatory Tuesday. And of course, always, you can catch me on YouTube, BitChute, Minds, Gab, Twitter, Patreon, Maker Support, and many other places.
All right, and Burnside.
Alright, well, when I'm not working myself to death, I swear I'm gonna get shit done. I'm just waiting on that goddamn computer.
Yeah. What have they told you? How long have you got?
It's processing. That's the only thing I know.
Ah.
So Lord alone knows what the fuck that means. You've got somebody sitting there scratching their ass and having 4 guys fight over a graphics card.
It sucks. Okay. Well,
that's like about like all I got. Like I dialed the 1-800 motherfucker number for it, and they tell me it's being processed, and that's about it. And thanks to the crypto fuckers running around all the time, everyone's scavvying for fucking graphics cards, and that's what I just so happen to burn out. So yeah, that's fun.
Well, Bob, so do you have anything, any other streams or anything coming up that you want to, like?
Well, I do owe everybody not only the 5th, but the 6th Chronicle of Backline. That I swear to God I'm going to get done one of these days. You know, the audience is
As
the
soon
only
as you
one
get your
checking
graphics card.
Yeah,
graphics
that was
card.
the time. Because the old man, old man Rizzo takes care of backline. I just do most of like the editing and uploading, but you know, work's been killing me, and like it's like the 4th and 5th is coming up, so we're gonna see what's going on.
Okay, and this is Irate Prostate. This is my channel. I appreciate everybody that came and showed up, everybody that donated. Thank you so much. Uzi and I are having a rough stretch, and we appreciate it. Thursday, Big Fat Brian and I and special guest Failure, we're going to be covering a Netflix film called The Bad Batch. And if you like post-apocalyptic thrillers featuring massively overdosed drug heads and cannibals, then this is your thing. All right.
Oh man, it sounds like 6-String Samurai on crack.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like remind me of the name of that movie so I can watch
The Bad Batch. Just think of that. Just think about the Woodstock of the brown acid. Don't take the brown acid.
Okay.
Now, Irate, I've got to tell you, this is the only Thursday I'm going to get a chance to live stream before I get to Tennessee. So I might have to watch this and come chat with
Check it out, dude. It'll be and we will open up usually the last 15 or 20 minutes for comments and stuff. So yeah, get caught up on that. We'll have some fun since it'll be a lot of people will be off. Friday, the cream stream, we're going to be having the guest Celestial Parsnip. It should be a little crazy. And then Drinks with Friends, of course, with Sir Adamantine. And then next Monday, we'll be back around here with Chaos 120 and Irate Monday. So if anybody's got anything else to say goodbye if you don't.
Goodbye, Gracie.
More dead bodies.
Yes. All right. All right, y'all. This is Irate Prostate, Cyberspace Cadets. Have a great week, and we'll see you, and happy 4th. All right. Celebrate our freedom.